Hey everyone, so let's just do a quick recap of what we discovered in our last video, specifically revolving around when can you make inferences about what. So this little table here is really handy as far as figuring out when are you allowed to make inferences about what. So if your individuals were randomly selected, you may make inferences about the population. But if you did not randomly select your individuals, you cannot make an inference about the population from which you gathered your data. You gathered your sample. Now, if there was random assignment, meaning it was an experiment, you can make inferences about cause and effect. But if you did not have random assignment in an experiment, you cannot make inferences about cause and effect. Okay? And so we saw that with our example about listening to music while studying and GPA. Okay? So we did all that. Now, what if you can't experiment? Let's think about this question, shall we? Does smoking cause lung cancer? We want to infer cause and effect through designing an effective experiment, but we cannot. Why? Well, there's this little idea of ethics, right? If you think that something is going to cause cancer, you probably don't want to then experiment on either people or animals and see if that's true, right? You don't want to knowingly try to give somebody cancer. So what else can you do? Well, there are some other criteria for establishing causation when you can't do an experiment. You want to look for a strong association. You want to look for consistent association. Large values of the explanatory variable are going to be associated with stronger responses. The alleged cause precedes the effect in time. And also the alleged cause is plausible. So we are pretty sure that smoking can cause lung cancer. Even if we don't do experiments on it, there is enough here that we can establish causation. Now, don't be like, oh, on a test, like, can I establish causation? Well, I know it was an experiment, Ms. Miller, but yes, we can because of these. Just be careful with jumping to those conclusions. The last thing I want to talk about, which won't take very long, is this idea of ethics. Now, like I said, this is not an AP topic. This is not something that you'll be assessed on for the AP exam, but I do still think it is important. So there are 4 scenarios here, and I want you to read through them, and I want you to decide whether you think each of the following studies is ethical or unethical. I'm not going to tell you what the right answer is, because I don't want to sway you one way or another. We will have a class discussion about it, just because I'm curious what you're thinking. But, yeah, so just take some time and maybe jot some notes down for yourself on whether or not you think each of the following studies is ethical or unethical based on your own personal opinions. The last thing, some basic data ethics. These are 3 things that need to happen before you go through an experiment. So all planned studies must be reviewed in advance by an institutional review board that's charged with protecting the safety and well-being of the subjects. Okay, so this needs to happen before you begin the study. Also, all individuals who are subjects in the study must give their informed consent before the data are collected. Okay, so this needs to happen before. And then finally, all individual data must be kept confidential. So if this was being published, only the summaries, like the statistical summaries for the groups of subjects may be made public. This is not the same as anonymity. I'm not saying that right. Anonymity. Sure. Being anonymous, right? Because if you just like blur out someone's name, we don't want that. So to be confidential, only summaries for the whole group of subjects can be made public, not for individual experimental units, right? Not for individual subjects. All right, short and sweet, that is our final video of this unit. There has been so much vocabulary, so much writing, so many words. Please make sure you're keeping all of this straight as far as the words associated with sampling versus experiments, how to describe all the things, how to use random digit tables. There's lots of review in the textbooks, so make sure you check that out and ask any questions in class. Hope you guys are doing well. Look, there's 12 units, so if we're 4 through, we're a third of the way through our year in AP Stats. Keep it up, guys. You're doing great.